Hello everyone, this is Mr. Navratil here. We have finally made it. It is time to do our first laser cut. In this video, I'm going to be telling you how to make your own custom vanity license plate. This is a sped up version of what it's going to look like when it's finally on the laser cutter. We're going to be engraving kind of our own custom design, and if we do it right, the laser will even cut that piece of wood out for us. Once it's completed, we can open that lid, move your Doritos out of the way there, and you have your own custom wood burned license plate. The first step in the lab is to find the laptop. So in the back CNC room, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the cart here. This cart has all of our laptops numbered 1 through 15. It is absolutely imperative that you're searching for a laptop with the correct number. So we also want to look and make sure that the laptop is actually plugged in, meaning it's charged. So in this example, I'm finding one that's charged. It's number 8. I'm pulling it out and I'm making sure that the laptop also says number 8. This is crucial and very, very important. You're going to be using that number laptop for the remaining of this project. Once you got it, go ahead and take it right back to your seat. Okay, so at this point, you're probably watching this on your Chromebook. We are about to do all of these steps on the laptop that we just took out. So we're going to go ahead and power this bad boy on. Once you have it on, we're going to go ahead and take a look at how to log in. Once you log into this computer, it might end up being that somebody else is already logged in. This is a problem. To fix this, we're going to go to the bottom right and we're going to click the power button and we're going to hit restart. And then you can just go ahead and hit restart anyway. Once the computer has booted back up, you'll see it's asking for your username and password. We're going to type in our school username, but we are not going to use the @nccsk12.org. It's just the username and just your school password. Once you get those typed in, it should boot up into your account. Yours might take a couple minutes so that it sets up for the first time, but eventually you'll get to the desktop. So once we have logged into the computer finally, our first stop is going to be Chrome, all the way down here at the bottom. If your desktop looks different than mine, has a different wallpaper, there's different icons, that does not matter. We're gonna hit Chrome down here on the bottom. Yours should open up so that it's completely empty and there is no profiles here. I already signed in with a couple of my own, so you can hit add or you can just hit sign in. You're going to find yourself on a page that asks to sign in to Chrome. This is very different than when we were signing into the laptop itself. You're going to have to write your full email address for the school. So you're going to do your username and then you have to do the @nccsk12.org. If you don't write the part in this whole section afterwards, this process is not going to work. Once you've typed in your full username and the full extension afterwards, we can hit next, and then you're just going to put in your password as normal. Once you've done that, you can hit next, and it should sign into your Chrome profile. Okay, now that we have found ourselves logged into the Chrome profile on my laptop in the CTIL, you can tell that you're logged in because your little logo will be available up here. You're going to find yourself on ClassLink. So you should have a little button up here to allow you to get to ClassLink. And then from there, we should be able to access Onshape like we normally do. So we're actually going to be using 2 different programs to create the license plate. We're going to be using Onshape like we typically do, and we're also going to be using another program called Inkscape. So if I go into the dashboard for Onshape, I can go ahead and open up the license plate that I've already created, and you're going to notice that it's pretty bare bones. There's really not much here. So if I go into the sketch and I double click, I can show you real quick. We're really just making the outline for the license plate itself. So we're going to do that in Onshape in a minute, and then eventually we're going to bring that over to a program called Inkscape. So I'll just show you real quick what that's going to look like. You can see our outline is here. It's in this very faint red line, and that's very much on purpose because we're going to be using Inkscape to tell the laser cutter where to actually cut the piece of wood out, and then all of the stuff on the inside is going to be up to you to design. I can run you through how I created mine, and you can change yours to however you see fit. So let's get rolling on creating this laser cut license plate. we're going to go back and find ourselves on Onshape. And as we typically do, we are going to hit the create button in the top left, and we're going to hit document. We're going to name this the license plate. And then we're going to hit create. Now from here, again, all we are doing is a very simple drawing of a rectangle with some rounded corners. So we're going to hit the sketch button in the top left, and we're going to go ahead and hit the front plane, again, as we typically do. And we'll use our view cube in the top right to click on the front view. From here, we can select our rectangle tool, top left, and we're just going to click on the origin once, and we're going to come up. It doesn't really matter because we're going to use the dimension tool to make it perfect. So there we go. I've got myself a rectangle. We're going to find the dimension tool up here, and we're going to click on this top line once, come up and click again. The length of our license plate is going to be 5.5, and then I'll hit enter. And if we can go back, we can see our other dimension is going to be 3. So if I have my dimension tool, I can click on the left line here, come over, click again, we're going to hit 3, and then enter. Excellent. So there's the outside of our license plate. You might notice it's going to be a little bit smaller than an actual size license plate, but that's because of just size constraints in the lab. Now, the last thing we have to do here is just round these corners over. So we're going to be using something called the sketch fillet, and that tool is going to be available to us right here. It's just kind of like a little rounded piece. So we're going to click on that. And to use the sketch fillet, we actually have to click in a couple different places. We're going to click on this left line, and then we're going to click on the top line. And you notice it automatically comes up with a size for us. In this particular case, that is actually exactly what we're going for. But in case yours did not, all you need to do is double click on where it says radius, and then you can type in the 0.25, and we're going to hit enter. And it's good to go. So now we just need to repeat that step a couple more times. We're going to click on the top line here and the right line, and then it's asking to just click to confirm. So I can come over here and click to confirm. I'm going to do it to the side line and the bottom line. I'm not clicking and dragging or anything. I'm just clicking and clicking, and then I can click to confirm. And then finally, we're going to click on the bottom line and the side line here, and I can click to confirm. And there you have it. That is the actual outside of the license plate. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take this file and put it into a new program we haven't used called Inkscape, which is going to allow us to cut it out on the laser. So to get this over to Inkscape, what we're going to do is create a DXF file, which is very similar to when we are creating stickers in the lab. So I'm going to hit the Finish Sketch button here. I'm going to come over to where it says Sketch 1, and I'm going to right click. It's going to give me all these options. I want to hit Export as DXF here. Now again, a lot of options. We are going to name this our first and last name. So Chris Navratil, or you could name it license plate if you want. Make sure that the format is set correctly to DXF, and we can leave the rest of this alone. And then we're going to go ahead and hit export. That will go directly into the downloads folder on the laptop that you are using, which is the number that you had chosen when you picked it out of the cart. Then the next step is we're going to get this DXF file into Inkscape. So the next step is that we need to open the Inkscape program. That's going to allow us to actually do the design work for our license plate. So we're going to come down to the search bar at the bottom of the screen here, and we're just going to simply type in the word ink, and it should pop up with something that looks like this, and we can go ahead and hit Inkscape. That will open something that looks like this window. It's going to be underneath quick setup, and we can just hit save there, and then it should say supported by you, and you can hit thanks. And we're all going to find ourselves here. It might look a little different. There's some files that are already on my computer. Yours is probably just going to be blank. So we're just going to hit new document right here. So this is basically the size at the moment of a traditional piece of paper. And the first step that we want to do actually is create something that's more resemblant of the actual piece of wood that we're going to be cutting our license plate out of. So our first step is we are going to come up to the top left, and we're going to click File, and we're going to come down and hit Document Properties. Now this window is going to allow us to change a lot of things about what we're putting our design on. The first step that you want to do is make sure that you hit where it says millimeters right here, and you're going to come up and make sure that you change it to inches. This is very, very important for the rest of our design process. If you don't change it to inches, your license plate might come out like the size of an ant. So we want to make sure that it says inches, and then underneath width, we can change that to 12. And if we go to height, we can also hit 12 and then enter. At this point, you can close out of that window. Now in Inkscape, the controls on it are going to be a little bit different, but not too different from Onshape. If you use the mouse wheel as a button, so you can scroll up and down with it, but if you use it a button and you hold it down, you can move your design just like we do in Onshape. That's called panning. And this is our piece of wood, essentially. So it's the 12 by 12 piece of wood we're going to be putting into the laser cutter. The next step is that we want to take our outline that we just made in Onshape and we want to put it into this document. So to do that, we're going to come up and we're going to hit File, and we're going to come down to where it says Import. Now, in this particular location, it should have downloads kind of already set by default, but if it doesn't and it says something different, you can come up to where it says Look In, click here, and you're just going to find the downloads folder right here. Yours should be one of the top ones. It should say whatever it is that you named it. I did the first and last name. Maybe you named it license plate, but make sure that it says .dxf, and you're going to hit Open. This window is going to pop up. This is very, very important. Do not skip this part. We need to make sure that we're clicking on this Read from File place right here, and then we're going to hit the OK button. Once more, it's going to have another pop-up. If we just hit OK, it should bring in our design from Onshape, but you might notice it's, off of the actual page. So to get it on, all we need to do is just click and drag and put it somewhere in the top left. It doesn't have to be perfect, but somewhere around here. When you have successfully gotten your outline of the license plate into Inkscape, it is very important that we take this time to make sure that we're saving our work. We're going to continuously do this throughout the entire video. If at any point you need to pause and stop this project because let's say something else has come up in the lab, or it's the end of the period and you need to go, you need to save your work. This stuff does not save automatically. So because of that, we're going to take our time. We're going to come up to where it says File. We're going to come down to Save As. And from here, you can choose where you're going to be saving your work. A lot of the times it's really easy just to save it right on the desktop. Again, make sure that you're using the same numbered laptop every single time. If you come into the period the next day and you use a different numbered laptop, your work is not magically going to jump from one to the other. So make sure that you are on the desktop, and then from here, I like to just put in my first and last name. It makes it easy, and we can hit Save. So from now on, this is officially on the laptop that you are using, and we're going to continuously save as we continue in the project. So the first step in designing our license plate is to get the New York State outline set in the middle of here so we can kind of design around it. So to do that, we need to download the one that I provided for you on Google Classroom. We're going to go back to Chrome, and you're going to find yourself back on ClassLink, and then from there we can go to Google Classroom. You're going to find the Google Classroom that you're assigned to, hit the Classwork tab, and we're going to scroll down to where it says Laser Cut License Plate. This is going to give you those two options, the video obviously that you're watching now, but also there is a New York PNG picture. So we're going to click on that. So this is the one that we're going to bring into the Inkscape document. You might notice we can't really download it at the moment. It's not giving us any options to do that. So if we come up and we hit the three little dots here, and then we hit Open in New Tab, this is going to give us the options we want. Up in the top left now we can hit File, and we can hit Download. This is going to go to the Downloads folder on the laptop that you're currently working on. So if we go back down to the bottom and you find your Inkscape document, from here, we need to take that picture and put it into this canvas, into this document. So just like before, we're going to hit File, we're going to come down and we're going to hit Import, and it should be underneath the Downloads folder. Now again, if it doesn't say Downloads for you, you can just go and you can click on this top thing here, and we're going to come down to where it says Downloads. It should be the first one there, and we're going to head and hit Open. from there you can hit OK, and it should put our actual thing into the canvas. Now again, it's putting it off of like where we need, so if we just click and drag and bring it over, we're gonna have to resize this so it fits in the middle. If you go and ahead and click one of the arrows on the top right here to start resizing it, you might notice that it's going to go out of scale pretty quickly. Okay, so instead of doing that, and if you just did, you can go ahead and hit edit undo, might be your friend for that one. If you click control on the keyboard and hold control and then click and drag on this arrow, it will keep it in proportion for us. Okay, so again, that's holding control on the keyboard, then clicking the arrow. So I'm gonna resize it to about here, and I'm gonna bring it up to the middle. Now, it might be a little bit easier for us to see if we zoom in, and you'll notice on the mouse wheel it goes up and down like this when you use it, and again, if you hold it as a button, it pans, but we want to zoom in. So in Inkscape, there's this really cool trick. Again, if you hold the control button on the keyboard, then use your mouse wheel, you'll be able to zoom in. So I'm going to click back on this image. It's still a little big for me, so I'm going to hold control, and then I'm going to click and drag a little bit, and I can kind of just center this as best as I possibly can. It doesn't really need to be absolutely perfect, but that looks pretty good to me. So from here, we can really dive into the design work of the actual license plate. If we look at my example, you'll notice I put New York and Empire State here, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. On your document, all you have to do is come over to the left here and you'll find this little A. This is our text tool, and it's going to allow us to draw whatever text we want in. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click and drag kind of where I want to draw this particular text. So it's going to come up. Yours might come up really big, it might come up really small. It doesn't matter. We can change all of those things afterwards. So I'm just going to simply type in New York. So again, very small at the moment. That's fine. If I click and drag over the text that I just drew, I can come up here and I can change the size to whatever I want. So it's set at 9 right now. If I hit 30, it's a little bit bigger. You can also, while it's still selected, you can click on this option here, and it's going to give you 1,000 different fonts that you can choose from. I'm going to just kind of scroll through, see if we can find something that works for us. Typically want to do something a little bit more bold. Let's see here. That doesn't look too bad. Again, you can choose whatever it is that you want. Now, if you come up to the top left, we're still on our text tool here. There's this arrow. If we click on that, it's going to automatically select the text. And from here, we can do a lot of things. We can change the position and we can change the size. So for me, I'm going to want to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to hold control and again, click and drag on this guy here. I can let go, and now I can just click and drag and move it kind of where I want, right there. So there's New York. Now we're gonna go ahead and try and put the Empire State portion on the bottom here. Now we could do the whole process over again and make another text tool, or if I want to, I can just click on this and hit Control C, and then I can hit Control V to paste it. I can put that down where I want it. If I double click on it now, I can click over the text and I can change the text, right? And again, I'm going to use my selector tool, the arrow up here. I'm going to bring that over to the center. I'm going to hold control, make this a little bit smaller. And then again, I can kind of just center it as best as I want right there. Now from here, if we go back to the example, you notice I have some larger text on either side of the New York State outline. I just wrote nav and CTIL. This is something that you have complete control over. You can put in whatever text you want. You can put your name in and, you know, another piece of text here, or you can have your last name maybe split between some letters on the other side. It is completely up to you, but I'm just going to show you how I did mine. So again, I'm going to hit the text tool over on the left. I'm kind of click and drag where I want to do it. I'm going to write nav in all caps. And then from here, I can hit the selector tool. And all I need to do, instead of holding control this time, I can click and drag this to kind of whatever size I want. So if I get it to about right there, that looks pretty good to me. Now I could do the same process with the text tool again, or I could click on this, hit Control C and Control V to paste it. I can bring this over, and then all I need to do is double click. I'm going to highlight it, and then I'll just change the text. If I come back up, now I can click on our selector tool and I can kind of change where I want this. Now I'm starting to realize the New York State outline's a little bit off center, so it's no problem. If I just click on it, I can change that position anytime that I want. And I think this is starting to look pretty good. Our last step is to add in the pictures. So to do that, we're just going to go ahead and find ourselves on the interwebs and download some cool stuff, and we'll put that into the license plate. Before we get into the pictures, just a reminder once again, maybe not a bad time to save our work. We're going to come up to the File button and we're going to hit Save As again. It should be on the desktop. It should say your name already. If you hit Save and it comes up with this, it says file named such and such already exists, you want to replace it, you are going to hit Replace. This is going to continuously save your work so that if something happens, we do not lose it. Let's get on to the pictures. So to add some pictures into our design, we're simply just going to go back to Chrome. And if you want to add in the CTIL logo, as I did in my example, like this little logo right here, you can find that picture on Google Classroom. If we scroll up and we go to Resources, you'll see where it says CTIL logo. You can click on that image right there. Once again, we're stuck with these weird options in the top. You'd have to hit the three little dots, hit Open in New Tab, and then from here we can hit File and Download. That will put it onto the Downloads folder in your laptop. If we go back to Inkscape, to get that image onto our design, it is the same process as it was for the New York State logo. We're going to hit File, and then you're going to hit Import. If, again, it doesn't say Downloads folder, make sure it says Downloads up here. And you can just find that picture, hit Open, and OK. Once again, it's going to pop in. It's not probably going to be anywhere near the right size or anything like that, but you can click and drag it over. I can hold Control and click and drag this so that it is smaller. And I can click and drag and make sure that it's the appropriate size and kind of put it right there. Now, instead of having to do the whole file import over and over and over again for certain things, we could just click on this, hit Control C and Control V, and that will allow us to add in another one. We can put that over on the other side. Now, the CTL logo is completely up to you. You do not need to put that logo in. You can put in whatever pictures you want. So let's do an example of something that you might want to add in. So to get an image from Google onto our design, we're gonna find ourselves back on Chrome, down here on the bottom, and we can type in whatever it is that we're looking for. I would like a hammer, I think, for my design. So I'm going to type in hammer. A lot of the times it's nicer, it's a lot easier and cleaner if you type in the word clip art afterwards. It's going to give you some better results for our laser cut license plate. So I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to go into images. So I can choose any of these to put onto the license plate. If I just scroll around a little bit, this one looks pretty neat. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to hit save image as. Now you do need to be very careful because Inkscape will only take certain types of image files. GIF should be fine, JPEG is fine, PNG is fine. If you find yourself with an image file that says, let's say, a WEBP file, that is not going to work, and you're going to have to go ahead and find another image unless you'd like to take that WEBP file and use the internet to convert it into a PNG. If you're really stuck on an image that is a WEBP file, you can also use a little life hack. If you hit Windows, Shift, and S on my laptop, it will automatically go into a screenshot mode, and you can click and drag over the image instead, and that will go to your clipboard. You could go back to your design and just simply hit Control V to paste it. Problem is that you're going to end up maybe not getting the full image, or there's going to be other things in the image like this that you don't want. So that is kind of a workaround. Like I said, you could also go to a website and you can simply just type in WEBP to let's say a PNG or a JPEG, and you can convert it that way. But for our purposes, I'm going to right click here and I'm going to hit save image as. Again, make sure that it says something that's not WEBP, and we're going to make sure it's going to the downloads folder, and I'll hit save. Great. So now it's in the downloads folder on the laptop. We're going to go back to our design, and here we are. We are ready to put it into the license plate. So just like we imported our last image, we're going to do the same process. We're going to come up and hit File, and then we're going to hit Import. The picture that you downloaded should be closer to the top here, and then I can hit Open. If I hit OK, it will put it into our document once again, way too big, out of place. So as a reminder, if you hold Control on your keyboard, use your mouse wheel to scroll out. Now I can bring this kind of closer over. If I hold Control on the keyboard and click and drag, I can keep the proportions of this image, and I can hold Control and zoom back in a little bit. Now I can place it where I'm looking for, hold Control, and I can make it the appropriate size. So I just got to kind of wiggle it over a little bit. Looks great. Once again, we don't have to go through all that process to make another one. I can click on it, hit Control C and Control V, and I can bring that one over to the other side. This is looking pretty good. At this point, we can take a little save break. If we come up to File and then we hit Save or Save As, just to make sure that our work is not getting lost. We are officially on to the last step that we need to do here in Inkscape before we can take this design and send it to the laser cutter. The last step is to make this outline so that it can be read for the laser cutter to actually cut it out instead of engraving all of the things that we've put on the front of it. So this is pretty simple. All we're going to do is we're going to click on the outline, make sure that it has all these little arrows around it. You're going to come up to the top where it says Object, and then we're going to hit Fill and Stroke. So that should open up a panel over on the right here. Now make sure that it's still highlighted, and we're going to click on Fill, and we're going to hit the X button. Then we're going to click where it says Stroke Paint, and you want to click this little square right here, this solid square, and we have a bunch of options that are going to pop up. By default, this might be a different color scheme, so you need to click on this little icon here and come down where it says RGB. Make sure that it says RGB here. Everything is going to be 0, 0, 0, and 100. The only thing that you need to do is click and drag on this top panel and go all the way over until it says 255. If your click and drag isn't working, you can just type in this box 255 and leave the rest of it alone. The last step is to hit Stroke Style. And again, all of these options are going to stay the same with the exception of this right here where it says width. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on where it says millimeters. You're going to come up and you need to change this to inches. If it isn't on inches, it's not going to work on our laser cutter. And then finally for the width, we're going to highlight this and we're going to change that to 0.001. That's very important. Make sure it's 0.001 and we can hit enter. Now you might notice if you're zoomed out a little bit on your page, because we changed that line so thin, it almost disappears when you zoom out because it is so thin. But if we zoom in pretty close to our design, you'll notice it is there. It's just very, very faint. Okay, we are officially done with the design work, and it is now time to take this design and send it to the laser cutter. Before we can do that, we have to put this onto the Google Classroom so that you can actually access it on the MakerStation in the Maker Room. And to do that, once again, we're gonna hit File and Save. If we go back to the Google Classroom, you can find the laser cut bookmark assignment and you will hit View Instructions. Now, mine looks a little bit different than yours. On your right-hand side, you should have the ability to hit Add and then hit File. You will go into the desktop and find it. So I can show you that something that looks very similar. If I hit Edit here, it should say File, and then you could hit Upload. We can hit Browse here. You're going to want to come over to the left where it says Desktop, and then you're going to have to find your file that you had. So here's mine, and I can hit Open, and once it's all said and done, you can hit Save, and you can hit Upload, Submit, And at that point, your file is officially on Google Classroom and you are ready to laser cut. We are now officially on the MakerStation in the Make Room. If it's not signed in, let somebody know. When you get to the MakerStation, it might look very different than the desktop that I have here, different icons. The process is going to be the same. Usually there is a Chrome profile open down here so that you can open it, and a lot of the times Google Classroom will be open. If that is not the case, you can simply hit the Chrome button on the bottom, and then it should have a couple of profiles to choose from. We're going to choose this astronaut one here, the nccsk12.org. So if we click on that, and then one of these buttons up here should bring you right to Google Classroom, and then from there you can navigate and you can find the Google Classroom that you are attached to. So we can click on our Google Classroom. We'll go to the classwork tab here, and we can scroll down to find where the assignment is, laser cut license plate, and then we can click where it says turned in. This will give you the option of finding your name underneath everyone else's. You could find your name here. Let's say you were this person. You need to be very careful at this point. If you've uploaded multiple files, you need to make sure that you're clicking on the SVG file that you actually uploaded. So for this case, I'm just going to click here. It might look a little different on Google Chrome and Google Classroom. It might be out of format and things might not look the same. That is perfectly fine. It is just the way that Chrome is trying to translate that information. It doesn't matter to us. We're going to come up to the top right here and we're going to click download. And at that point, your SVG file is officially on the MakerStation and we can get that file to the laser cutter. So we are officially ready to open this in Inkscape now that it has been downloaded onto the MakerStation. A lot of the times Inkscape will be open on the bottom here. Somebody else has a project going on. In case it's not already open, you can come down to the search bar like we did on our laptops, and you could just type in ink. That way you can find the app and you can open it that way. Once you have Inkscape open, you're simply going to come up and hit File, and then you're going to go to Open. And underneath the Downloads folder, so if I hit here and I go to Downloads, you should be able to find your SVG file. It should be the top one here, whatever it is that you named it, and you can click and hit Open. Now that you have your design open on Inkscape, it is finally time to send it over to the laser cutter. The first and most important step, we're going to come over to the wall here. There is a start and a stop button. This is for our exhaust system for the laser cutters. If this is not on while the laser cutter is running, all of the fumes that it's used, that's like burning inside of it, can stay inside. So it needs to kind of go through a system to go outside. We're going to hit the start button first. That's also going to turn on our laser cutters. You can choose which one that you'd like to use. There are two. This is number 1 and this is number 2. Sometimes one of them might be being used by another student. We're going to go ahead and use laser cutter number 1. I'm going to open the lid here. Please be mindful, this machine's just starting up, so this nozzle might move. We have to be very, very careful that we're not running into that nozzle. So I'm going to just very quickly move out this piece and set it aside for now. Now your first order of business is to find a piece of plywood to actually laser cut. I have a bin full of just scrap plywood here, and a lot of the times when we cut something out on the laser cutter, there are pieces that are left over that are still suitable for other projects. So this is actually a great example. Always use stuff from the scrap bin before you grab from the brand new plywood bin. So this piece does look like it's going to suit us. You can see the machine's homing. Be careful to touch it while it's doing that. Once it's done homing, we are going to take our stock and we're going to lay it down flat on the bed. You need to make sure that you're taking the piece and putting it all the way up against these two rulers. So there's one there and there's one there. You're essentially trying to get it nice and snug all the way in the corner. Once you have placed your piece of plywood in, we can close the top very carefully, just like that, and we'll find ourselves back on the MakerStation. So we're officially ready to send it to the laser cutter. We're going to go up to File, and we're going to hit Print. Now in this box, we need to make sure that we come up to the printer And we're going to click there, and we have to go to closer to the top where it says Epilogue Engraver. We're going to click there, make sure it says Epilogue Engraver, and hit print. Once you've clicked there, you can see your design actually right here. And we actually have a live feed camera inside of the laser cutters, which is pretty cool. Let's say, for instance, that you open this up and yours is set to the other laser cutter. You can choose 1 or 2 here. So if we look at laser 2, it has a full piece of plywood that we're not using in there. We're going to go back to laser 1, and this is the piece that we found in the scrap bin. Now, there are some really important things that you have to make sure that you have set on the right-hand side here before we send this to the laser cutter. First off, where it says autofocus, you need to make sure that this says plunger. And basically what that does is it just sets the height kind of perfect to the plywood. For our engrave setting, which is all the images that we have here, we can come down and we're going to change this resolution setting to 600. We're going to change our speed to 75, and then we're going to change our power to 100. Okay, those are the 3 things that you really need to make sure are set correctly, and the rest of this we're actually going to leave alone. On the bottom, you'll find our vector setting. This is telling the laser which parts we actually want to cut all the way through the piece of plywood. So for our speed for this, we are going to choose 5%. For our power, we are going to choose 90%. There you go. And the rest of it, again, you can kind of keep the same. So once you have your design located exactly where it needs to be, you have the autofocus on plunger. Your engraved settings are resolution 600, speed 75, power 100. And your vector settings are speed 5%, power 90%. When all of those things are all set, you can go ahead and hit the print button. Once you have hit print, you can come back over to the laser cutter that you're using, and you will notice there will be a new job at the top here, okay? If for some reason the laser cutter is underneath a different menu like this, all you need to do is come up and hit these bars, and it should send you back to the list of jobs. So you can actually even see an example of what ours is going to look like right there. So the last step here is just to hit the play button. The machine is going to autofocus the plunger first, and then it will start cutting out our license plate. And we'll be back in just a minute when it's all done. Once the laser is done, you'll hear a nice beep, and it will kind of change the screen over here. It'll say idle, and that way we know that we can go ahead and open up the lid. You don't have to worry about any of this being hot or anything. It's already blown through, so you're fine. Just be very careful that you don't hit the laser here. We're gonna slide this out from underneath it like this, okay? And we can take our little license plate and move it out. Now it's very important you take a look at the piece that you used. If you think that this could get used by another student, please make sure it gets into the scrap plywood bin. Once you're done with that, you're gonna come over, and there you go. You got your own little vanity mini license plate.